Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 20 playthrough with the Phillies. We are ready to start this 2039 season. Had some tough decisions to make offline. Wound up losing at least one pitcher, so it could have been worse. I had to trade one guy away. It's a good thing to have that kind of depth, but I mentioned it. I think last tail end of last episode. I really did not want to lose any of those guys, just in case there were more injuries as the season went on. But it was tough. I went with what I thought was going to be the best pitching staff to get me started, and Hopefully, I didn't make too many big mistakes with that. But we're going to get started on this one. Sim through maybe a month or so, but I wanted to start out. A couple of things. One bad, one okay. Well, sort of okay. I like looking at the minor league system rankings when the season starts, just to kind of give me an idea of what kind of prospects the other teams, like the Braves, for instance, have some big ones here, and what the teams in my division and the league, what teams are kind of on the upswing and what teams are struggling. But more than anything, it lets me know how I stack up just at a quick, very, very top overview of the minor league system, see how I stack up. And right now I'm not stacking up too good at all. We're 28th. I've been down here before. This is with these challenge mode settings that I'm using for this one, coming all the way from Out of the Park 18. It's been really tough to develop a good farm system. So I've been down here before, but I've only got one guy in the top 100, and he's coming in at 62nd, and he was a second round draft pick in 2038. And my scout really doesn't like this guy too much. I probably went with OSA, who's got him at a potential 3.5. I'm hoping that's what he's going to turn out being. He had a pretty decent start to his career. Only 4 starts, though, and then he got injured. And so, jury's still out on whether that guy's even going to make it. But that'll let me know what I've got coming up, I guess, in the next 2 or 3 seasons in terms of the kind of drafts. Hopefully I can get some better drafts going. But if not, I feel confident that I've got a few guys who are going to make an impact eventually in the league. Got this closer down at AA right now, who's a potential 4.5-star guy. I've got a few outfielders here, especially Benefield. I think when he matures, maybe in a couple years, he's got a good shot at being a dependable, pretty solid center fielder. Villalobos is another guy. He's potentially going to make it. He's got good defense and speed, but he'll at least maybe compete for a bench role. And then we got some shortstops like Owings and a few outfielders down in single A. So I don't think I'm too bad. I feel like I have some prospects on the way, but definitely not in terms of what OSA thinks. And then the other thing I wanted to look at, I always do when the start of the season, preseason predictions. They're sometimes a good indicator, sometimes not. I always like to take a look at them, though, just to see what the sim, however this is generated, what it thinks is going to happen this year. If I look at the American League, there's some tight races here, and not a really, again, just based on the sim results, not a really big dominant team anywhere in either division. In terms of players, you got a few guys who've been on here for a while, like Estinko, who was MVP a couple seasons ago at Boston. I think he had some injury problems last year, though. You got Elwell, expected to hit 60 home runs. He's already, at 32 years old, he's already close to 500, which he'll probably get before the end of the season if he plays all full time. That's one thing I'm seeing in both playthroughs that I've gone through with Out of the Park Baseball, from either, this one started in 18, but from 19 on up, I'm seeing a lot of home runs generated by some of these players. And then pitching, Zach Owenby's still expected to be a fairly dominant pitcher. He's with the Yankees now. Stromain, who's won the Cy Young now, I think 4 times, won it last year. He's going to have another decent year. And then in the National League, I'm hoping we do better than this. They've got us at least winning 82 games, having a winning record. And there are a few teams here that are definitely like Chicago and Cincinnati there that are kind of dominant. The East could be a tight race, and then the National League looks to be struggling this year based on these predictions. But Ray Naga is going to help Chicago out a lot. He signed with them in the offseason. Big, just impact player. He's won 4 MVPs, and he's only 27. I've mentioned him several times, though. The thing that scares me with him, career-wise, is his injury rating. He's had a rough patch, starting last season. So it's going to depend on if he can keep healthy, how good he's going to be. But they've got Atkins as well. Chicago does, who was MVP last year. We don't have anyone showing up on this list except Gordon. Gordon missed some time last year, and then when he came back, he was just really impressive. So I'm hoping he takes off where he left up, or takes up where he left off last year. And then Kinsler Jr., who's with Atlanta now, they expect him to have a decent season for him. This guy's still got some play in him, I think, and 5-star still. He's going to make Atlanta very scary, I think, in that National League East. And then on the pitching side, the guy I did pick up, Nate McAfee, he is showing up on the top performers, but just 28 starts and only 9 wins. I know he's listed as fatigued, but I'm hoping to get a full year from him. And then Atlanta has a starter there showing up, the Mets. Some guys I haven't seen too many times in this playthrough so far, but Mets, man, they have a really good young pitcher here. 5 stars already, but he's fragile again. A lot of these pitching stars coming up are injury prone as soon as they hit the majors. But we've probably got a few waiver things that are going to happen as we get started. But we're going to go ahead and get ready for the Rockies, which is the 31st, I believe. So, and another big decision I had to make was Phil Van Singel. I think his time has kind of come and gone. I do like his leadership, but I just didn't have a spot for him, and I wound up having to waive him. And I'm going to look at the waiver wire again. There was actually a shortstop on here. He's probably been picked up. There were some good players on the waiver wire starting out this season. I don't think we had a chance at any. I did make a choice. Tried to claim one of those shortstops that were out there. He was about where Eubanks was, a little bit better even, but claim didn't go through. Another team, I guess, with a better claim than me picked him up. So I take that back. I did pick him up. So now I got some decisions to make. This guy can play all 3. Well, second, third, and short. Looks really good. He's got great speed. Oh, man. What am I going to do? Because Eubanks is a guy who is also, he's up there with the ratings. He's a leader. I mean, would I rather have Eubanks or the other guy? The scout, let me see. He can be an acceptable starter right now. Another thing, even though I was excited about this Perez pick, he's a fan favorite. Let me see what I can get for him. I'm going to shop him around, see if anybody takes the offer or gives me an offer. A lot of offers coming in, looks like. Yeah, some high contracts here. Here's a closer that looks pretty good. Fragile, though. So I've got myself in a dilemma with that one. I mean, can I call him down to the? Let me see. Well, you know what? I thought I looked and Okay. He's out of option years. Is Eubanks out of option years? He has one option year left. Let me try this. This will at least give... I know he's not going to be happy with it, but that will give him some time in the starting lineup, I'm sure. And then I'm going to put Gutierrez here. Pencil him in, and man, he's got great speed. I like to when I see those guys with that kind of speed, I go all the way up to the blue. Let me see too if he has. He's okay bunting for hit, but back to the lineups. This will take a little bit of time, sorry. But he can play third as well, so I'm going to put him like every 8th game against righties. Every 7th game there. I'm going to let him bat here, place the Sellers. And then against lefties, I mean, he can play third base okay. I think I'm going to start him against... because Lockhart can also play all those positions. He's got some speed. I think I've got Lockhart set. His game strategy is not set. So against lefties, Lockhart's going to be there. And can he play short? He can play a little bit. So we'll give him some time there too. And then Gutierrez here. Every 6th game, every 7th game. And then I want him coming off the bench as a pinch runner when I can. And then against lefties, once again, I'm going to start him at third. And then Lockhart will get some time there. All right. Didn't necessarily expect I would do this, but he was really just too good of a prospect hanging out there. I thought to let go. Just 25, almost 26. He's looked really good in the minors, but we'll see how he does. Perez was injured a little bit, I think, in spring training. It's possible he's got some injury time coming up. He's old, and he is injury prone on top of that. All right, so let's go ahead. First game, opening game against Colorado at home. Close one, 3-2. Good pitching in this one, looks like, and that was McAvee. Didn't get the decision, but 6 innings, just 2 runs. And then game 2 against Colorado, 1-2. Norman, a good game, 3 for 3. And Barbarossa, who I put in there in that second spot, he looked pretty good here. Bullpen hasn't given up a run so far in these 2 games. And now we got game 3. This is a 4-game series, a good win, 6-3. Portillo off to a good start, 3 for 4 in this game. Koopman looks good. And then Contreras picks up his first win of the season. He's going to be in that 3rd spot for now, I think, in the rotation. Let me see how I got him. Yeah, we may this rotation, these bottom 3 could get moved around as the year goes on. And let's see anything else. Koopman, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. And then I don't know if we've given up a run yet in that bullpen. And then final game against Colorado, and we lose 1-5. And Jim Sellers out for just 3 days, but guy also picked up early in the season. So we split at Colorado. Dion didn't have a great game, but bullpen once again, no runs in that whole. Yeah, no runs in that whole series. So let's finish this one and see if there's any weekly awards here to hand out for us. And power rankings, we're ninth for what it's worth. Gonna check that waiver wire, even though we're not gonna need too much at the moment. Knock on wood, barring injuries. So opening game against New York Mets at home, we lose. Not much generated here, 8 hits, but Hines had a good game. Still no runs from the bullpen. That's pretty good. 5 games, still no runs. Game 2 against New York, we lose 3-5. Portillo 3 for 5. He's started out really good. Some other guys struggling. Rutherford backing up at catcher was 2 for 3. McAfee, a solid game, but Condeshera, blew it into the bullpen. So when we did give up some runs, finally, it was huge. Game 3 against New York, we're swept, 5-0. Just 2 hits in the game, and Barbarossa, 6 innings, 4 runs, not too great. And then Camarena, that great pitcher for them, he's already got 2 wins so far this season, 21 strikeouts. So not a good series. We're down to 2-5. And we're going up against Washington. We need, even though we're on the road, we need to get some wins in here. And we do the first game 4-0. Gordon 3 for 4, drove in 4, great game for him. Norman 2 for 4. Guire still struggling. This guy, I'm not gonna spend too much time on him. If he cannot get it together, I'm gonna wind up going with some other option. Contreras, a great game, 8 1/3, no runs. So game 2 against Washington, 3-11, not good. And I'm hoping, Ken Dion, another bad outing from him. Condeshera, another bad outing. So we got a guy here ready to come off the injured list, Tim Hobbs. Do I put him? The question here is, do I really put him? I think he might have some option years left. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna send him down to AAA. He's one of the guys who may be standing in there from Aguirre if Aguirre keeps tanking. So we lose again 3-5. Gordon had a good game. Hines, not so good this one. So, players of the week, I'm not sure about him. Chris Taylor, different Chris Taylor than the one playing now. And in the rankings, we're all the way down to 25th. So we're 3-7, not a good start. I'm going to check the waiver wire. I really felt good about this team coming in, so I'm going to check some free agents just to make sure I'm not losing anything there. Doesn't look like it. All right, so let's we need to get it going here. On the road against St. Louis, 3 games, and then we got a big series with Atlanta. It looks like coming up. Game 1, 2-7. Man, we are not doing good. Aguirre finally had a decent game, 2 for 3. Drove in a run. McAfee, his worst outing of the year. Hannibal not looking too good. Hannibal probably wants to be in that starting rotation, and I'm just going to ride it out for now and see if Dion keeps struggling or if Hines starts to struggle. He might be going in there. All right, so game 2 against St. Louis. Big win, 6-0. Here's a big injury there in the Niners, 3 weeks at Clearwater. So how do we win this one? Koopman, off to a fairly slow start for him. Bond not doing too good either. Sellers 2 for 4, drove in 2, but Barbarossa, a really good game, 8 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts. Mendoza has just 1 save this year. But when you're 4-8, that's going to happen. All right, so Steve Hammock, starting pitcher who I drafted pretty high a couple years ago, 3rd round. He's going to be gone for 3 to 4 months. Not looking too good for this guy. He may not develop for me. And we lost 2-3, so we lose another series. Struggling early here. Aguirre finally had a decent game. Contreras, not too bad. He has really been good this year. I think that's 3 quality starts, maybe 2 out of 3 quality starts for him. now we're up against the Braves. The Braves are playing 8-18. They're 9-2. We're 4-9. Man, we could definitely use some wins here. 5-0, another shutout. We've been getting some shutouts so far. Gutierrez getting some time in there at third. 2 for 3, drove in 2. Aguirre 2 for 4. Perez is struggling early. Bond had a decent game finally. Dion, great game. Complete game shutout. That's the kind of game I needed from him. Just 2 hits, no walks. He's probably going to make the news here this week. Dion mystifies Atlanta. All right, game 2 against Atlanta. 13-2, big win. That's what we needed. But we got an injury. Jonathan Lockhart's going to be down for 2 to 3 weeks. Probably not going to miss him the way he's playing. It's a moderate injury. Gosh. I'll see how he goes. Let me take a look at this game. 13-2. Gutierrez playing really good. Tuck, 2 for 5. Gordon, 3 for 5. Drove in 5. He's on some good paces here, it looks like. Sellers, 2 for 4 with 5 RBIs. Norman still hasn't got a home run. Hines, a good game. 5 innings, just 2 runs. And then, can we sweep Atlanta? This would be good. We can't. 4-12. Lockhart, a good game. Playing injured. McAfee. 0-2, 6.30 ERA. Maybe he's just learning the Phillies team. I'm going to go with that. So let's see what we got. Players of the week. Kuhn, Detroit. His name's been on a lot of awards in this playthrough, especially defense. Look at that. What is that? 7-8 Gold Gloves. National League went to Juan Ramirez, another guy who gets a lot of awards. And then power rankings, we're 23rd. We're kind of hanging out where we've been. Looking at the standings, Chicago is doing good. Chicago and Cincinnati, and even Pittsburgh coming along strong. Atlanta, New York, leading the way in the East. Yankees, Minnesota, Texas. Seeing quite a bit of home runs in the American League. That's been happening a lot. Bobby McKay still playing, and still for the most part productive. He's already got 544 home runs for his career. And then we got any leaders here? We got Josh Gordon showing up for RBIs. Gutierrez looking good. And let me take a look at the waiver wire. Andy Cornell, he's been around for a little bit. Well, I thought he was on their team for one point, but maybe not. All right, so 3 games against Milwaukee at home. Game 1, 4-3, close one. Gordon, a couple RBIs. Koopman, 2 for 3. Barbarossa, another decent start from him. Mendoza, just a second save of the year. And then game 2 against Milwaukee, 4-3, another 4-3 game. 3 RBIs from Portillo, who's still struggling. Gordon, a good game. Aguirre, 2 for 4. Perez, really not doing good at all. Contreras didn't get the win. 6 innings, just 1 run, though. So that's good. Scott looking good again. It's just 6 games, no runs so far. And then, all right, no, Steve Walker signed an extension, looks like. So can we sweep Milwaukee? We do, 2-0. That gets us back to 1 game under 500. Gordon, a good game. Norman, a good game, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Dion, another solid start. That's 2 solid starts for him in a row with no runs given up. I've still got good hope for that guy. So now we're going to have Miami at home for maybe, 3 games. They're struggling this year. We need to just keep winning here. 5-3 in the first game. Gordon, another solid game, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Looks like he hit another home run. Bond, 2 for 4. He's I don't know. He's not hitting like I thought he would, but it's early. And Mendoza has 4 saves, so he's starting to get some saves in there. Now game 2 against Miami, 3-2. We'll win some close games here. We're back a game over 500. Few guys did okay. Bond 3 for 4, good game from him, but McAfee, a solid game. He just didn't get the decision. Mendoza, his 5th save. I'll look at the news after this one. It's game 3. Can we sweep them? And we do. No, wait, we got 4 games. Sorry. So 3-2. Or was that the game? Was that the game I just played? Yeah, that was just a game I just played. Let's see. I'll look at the news right quick. Kaufman, his 400th home run. All right, so game 3 against Miami, we lose 3-6. So we couldn't sweep them, but pretty good week for us overall. Bad outing. Well, no, Barbarossa did not look too bad. Bullpen gave up some key runs there. All right, so we're at 500, 11-11, and let's see what players of the week. Juan Castillo, not familiar with him, with Cleveland, and Brandon Piccolo from Milwaukee. And then team power rankings, we moved up to 15th, so that's good. We've won 7 of 10. The race is tightening up a little bit here, but Atlanta's still leading the way. Chicago, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh all looking good in the Central. Even San Diego and Los Angeles looking good. And then it's Minnesota 16-5. They have the best record, looks like, in baseball right now. A lot of home runs. Bobby McKay up to 10 now. And a lot of wins. Look at Rocky Stromain already has 5 wins in just 5 starts. That's how good he is. This is the number 1 pitcher I need. I wish I could get this kind of guy, but I just haven't been able to do it. So we got as a minor league injury, but we got a couple games here against Cleveland on the road. I'm going to check the waiver wire one more time. Some decent pitchers out there, but if I'm looking at my bullpen, I think it's doing okay right now. Well, 11th in ERA, but at 3.77, that's pretty good. So we got some good things going on here. I love that defensive efficiency and zone rating because I have struggled so much getting a good defensive team with this Phillies team. So I'm really glad that to see that. That should help the pitching staff out a lot. Offense, we haven't turned it on yet, and I think we've got some room to get better here. All right, so game 1 against Cleveland on the road, 2-7. Aguirre's starting to hit a little bit better. That's a good sign from him. Lockhart really not doing too good at all. Contreras, his worst outing, didn't even get to 2 innings. And then game 2, let's see if we can split this series. We can't. Lose 3-5. Bonds, his average is getting up there too. Portillo really struggling. I don't know why this guy's struggling either. He's got the ratings, I think, to be a sure starter. 3.5 potential, 3 already. OSA doesn't like him as much, except they still like his contact and gap power and power. I don't know why he's struggling so much. Dion didn't pitch a bad game. Mendoza unfortunately lost it, and he didn't lose. Yeah, he did lose the game in the bullpen. All right, so we're got some news here. Let me see what we got. Danny McSparren, pitching for Seattle now, a former Philly, and now we got a 4-game series on the road against Atlanta. I would love to see a split here. If nothing else, just a split. Kinsler, he's struggling, just hitting 250. All right, so game 1 on the road, 4-0. Their pitching probably scares me more than their offense. We got 5 hits in this game. That's it. Hines pitched a good game. Condeshera, not so good. Hacker, solid. 7 innings, no runs, 10 Ks. Game 2, we win big, 8-2. And mainly because of Gordon. 2 for 5, 5 RBIs. Koopman had a good game. Perez, 3 for 4 with a couple RBIs. Pitching-wise, McAfee got his first win on the team. Good deal. I was hoping to see more wins from him by now, but at least he's on the board. All right, game 3, another win, 5-3, so we're back 1 game below 500. Norman, a good game here. Still no home runs from him for the year. offensively, we've got some question marks, I think, already. Barbarossa pitched a pretty solid game. Mendoza picked up his 6th save. And then we're at May now, but I'm going to finish out this game. We've already guaranteed a split, and that's where we're going to stay. So we lose 2-7. Nothing much going on offensively once again. And Contreras, honestly, I don't think that's a terrible game from him. 3 runs in 6 innings. He's given me a lot of innings. But Kandashera really starting to bug me a little bit. This guy might have to get some time in the minors. And like I say, I've got a little bit of depth there with guys like Mannion, for instance. Payan, maybe. Alvarado, I think he could be called up if I needed him. But I'm not going to give this guy too much time. Pitching-wise, we are still in, 10th or lower in several categories. The bullpen ERA, even though it's under 4, it's at 12th. And then offensively, not good either. Let me take a look at the news. I may play a few more games out and then see what I can do. Steve Bond hits his 2,000th hit. That's a good milestone. Best hitter in April, Arturo Bozo. Man, he's a perennial all-star. I have to admit, I haven't really paid much attention to this guy. And then Juan Ramirez, another perennial, four-time all-star. He's a good player. He was the batter of the month. Pitcher of the month, Caleb Frank in the American League. National League, Juan Toro. So Atlanta's pretty stacked with pitching. Rookies of the month, Flores at Cincinnati, and then Suzuki. Great looking player here, even though he's 30. He was an international sign. He had a great month for Arizona, looks like. I'm going to look and see if there's anything to be alarmed at. I mean, there's a lot of 2.5-star guys there still on that pitching staff. Norman still got some good potential. Gordon, Gutierrez, he may wind up winning that starting job before it's all over from Perez, even though I like Perez a lot. And then Hobbs looking good in the minors, as Eubanks looking pretty solid too. Those guys can be traded. Like Eubanks, if I need some help down the stretch, he might be trade bait. All right, so we're gonna go through this Cleveland series, see if we can get some payback. We've already got a trade offer. Is that right? Okay. From Chicago, a pitcher for Norman. No. All right, so game 1 against Cleveland, 2-3. Man, they are tough against us. Gordon may have hit another home run. Dion had a good game, but no offense. And then game 2, we win at 3-2. So we kind of finally got something positive from him. So we're at 14-16 through 30. Not the way I thought we would start. Let's look at the offense in this game. Gordon having a good year, but there's some offensive things here that are going to have to change, I think, as the year goes on. I'm going to end this episode now. I'll probably go through and send through the draft and come back maybe around right after the draft. We'll go through the All-Star break and up to the trade deadline. I'm going to be out of town for a few days, so that might be later next week when I get the episode up for that. But I'm still hopeful. We're not too far out of it, and I think we're just going to have to start playing a little bit better offensively. But I think we can do it. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next episode.